Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for joining me for my Spooktober paintings, but now it's November, so I thought we would do something a little bit different and a lot fun. Bubbles! These are kind of abstracty, vague indications of bubbles, and if you guys would like to join me, I did do this as a speed painting, but as you can see here, I did 4 bubbles, so I think if you painted along but only did 1 bubble, it should be fine. You will, however, need all of the paints of the rainbow to paint along, including starting from a black canvas, and then having a liner brush as well as one wider brush, just like slightly wider. And then having the cadmium red, alizarin crimson, yellow hue, quinacridone violet, phthalo blue, and viridian hue. And that should cover the basis for all the colors that we're going to be using. And if you're ready, let's get into it. Alright, this is VoiceOver BSW joining you for a voiceover of a speed painting that we did. And I decided that I needed a nice happy bubble painting, as you saw in the intro, and I thought that this would be a nice way to just have a quick little video. I know that we spent a lot of time in October doing some spooky paintings, and this one is very much the opposite of that. It's just a nice happy little painting. So as I said in the intro, you will need all of your colors out on your palettes, so I hope you got them all ready. And we're going to start with little circles on our canvas here, and you're going to just kind of trace those circles with your liner brush. If you have multiple liner brushes, feel free to use those for all of the colors that we're going to use. I have one, so I'm going to go through these color by color, going bubble by bubble, doing kind of all of the bubbles at the same time, color by color, starting with white, going all the way around. If you find your white is not working so well, like it's not, you have to keep getting more and more paint, it's not thin enough, use the goop to make it thinner, and it'll help it to flow better on your canvas. So you can get more circly shapes. If you find that you yourself don't need to have little circle shapes drawn in pencil first, feel free to skip that step and just, freehand some circles. If they end up a little wonkier than you'd like, it's bubbles. That's fine. I did, however, have little circles drawn from household items that I happen to have to cheat a little bit, because circles are hard. And even still, these ended up wonky, but that's okay. They're mostly circular, and that's what matters most. So other than the liner brush, we're going to be using a different brush to do some rectangular-ish kind of highlights. Yeah, you can see the brush right there. It's on an angle. I find that the angle brush helps to give it that swoopy effect, and you're going to kind of follow the curve of the bubble, making some little rectangular highlights on the bubbles. It helps with roundness, so that it gives it more of a 3D shape. We're going to be doing a lot of things to help with the 3D shape, but most of it is just fun, so hope you're ready for this, because I certainly had a lot of fun doing this, so I really hope that you do too. So we're going to go through, starting with cadmium yellow, then going to, oh goodness, I went through that way faster than I can talk. So we started with lemon yellow, went to cadmium red, then to alizarin crimson, then to quinacridone violet, then phthalo blue, and then viridian hue, just to give you the colors. I like to follow the Roy G. Biv, but starting with yellow, because yellow, as I've talked about it many times, is a very weak color, and blue is a very strong color. So if you can end with blue and start with yellow, that's always the greatest way to do a rainbow, I find. Especially if you don't want to constantly be cleaning your brush, which I don't. And I don't also have like 7 liner brushes. So we're just going to go through adding a little bit of the cadmium red to all of the bubbles after we added the lemon hue. And now we're going to add some alizarin crimson, or a lizard in crimson, which I like when people say that. But after we get that one done, we're going to be moving on to the quinacridone violet, and just kind of moving through all the colors, rainbow style. If you don't want to have them in rainbow order, you can do this in whatever order you would like. That bothers me a lot, but that's okay. You do what pleases you. These are your bubbles in your universe, and however the colors are responding, that's how they're responding to your world. Bubbles are very reflective, but they also are very refractive. And so you'll want to keep that in mind if you're doing actual reflections and refractions in your bubbles. I'm not, because I don't have anything other than just black on my background, which keeps my life much easier when doing paintings. I will say that this painting was actually inspired by a tutorial I saw on Pinterest that was actually there because of TikTok. That person's name is Artsy Bryce. So that's at artsy.bryce on TikTok. And they did this tutorial in pencil crayon or colored pencil, depending on which country you're in. I call them pencil crayons. And if you really liked how I did this, but you want to see what it looks like in pencil crayon format, you can feel free to look up their TikTok and check out their art. I'll try to find it and leave a link in the description notes so that you guys know that. So now we're just adding some blue, just to get back to what I'm doing. Adding some blue to the edges, and then we're going to switch over to the Viridian hue very shortly. Between the blue and the green, you'll want to wipe your brush off just to make sure there's not so much of the green in the brush. And you can gently blend, very gently, between the colors just to make sure that the transition from one color to another isn't just like a stark line, that it actually smoothly transitions. And oils are very good for blending into each other. But once again, be very careful of the yellow because you can lose it very quickly, so don't go too far. Now we're going to color in those rectangles that we did, or at least some of them. And we're just going to kind of pick whatever colors we want to put in whatever square we want. Square, rectangle, smudgy line, sure. Reflection, highlight. Those are highlights, that's what they are. We're going to highlight those highlights with colors because nothing's better than colors. Now some of this yellow doesn't really show up all that well, but at the end of this video I will be zooming in and then messing with the focus to try to manually get it so that you guys can see all of the wonderful goodies that are happening here. And yeah, I hope you guys can just enjoy that. If you guys are painting along, I'm sure you're not able to paint this fast, but this is sped up, so that's pretty fair. Yeah, you can feel free to pause this video, slow it down, play it at 0.5 speed. That will also work. My voice might sound a little different that way though. If you do that, let me know how it goes. But once again, if you do want this tutorial in a more detailed way, the TikTok is the one, like, I just go there. That person knows what they were doing. They once again did it with pencil crayons, and I am using, I guess they used colored pencils, and I'm using oils, but it's the same overall concept in terms of like what you're adding where, just that when you're doing it with oils, you want to make sure your canvas has the goop on first, and then obviously use oils and not use pencil crayons. And yeah, and then keep in mind like 3D shape of bubble. You can also feel free to get references for what bubbles look like. Now this is more abstract and like interpretive than what like real bubbles look like, which kind of makes them a lot of fun. So you don't necessarily need a reference, but I do think that having references can help things to look more realistic, especially if you're having trouble with shape and form. Even if you're doing something abstract, you still want to get the shape and form correct, because otherwise, even in the abstract, it'll start kind of falling apart and not looking like what you want it to look like, because the shape and form is kind of more important. Now we're going to add a bunch of wispy details. Please feel free to use sound effects. I did when I was painting this. You guys can't hear it, but trust me, I did. And it helped a lot, like a little whoosh and a little do-do-do. It helps when doing things. And basically what we're going to be doing is adding little dots, adding little lines, adding bigger lines, adding lines with dots, that kind of stuff around the edges and moving slightly into the interior, trying to keep it in that round shape, trying to just really emphasize the roundness of the bubbles, because they are like thinking of them in 3D space as opposed to just in the 2D, and how you can use 2D designs to make something look more 3D. That being said, it also just looks fun, which is also important. And yeah, even if it doesn't look 3D, it was fun to do. So who cares? That's really what I'm saying. So in your world, in your bubbles, you fill in however you would like to. And you know, you don't have to do what I do. You can do whatever you want. You can tell that all 4 of these bubbles are completely different. None of them are the same at all. I didn't even try to make them the same. And that just goes to show that you can do a lot of variations with these things, just having a lot of fun. And that's really what I recommend, is just having fun with it. So I hope that if you try this, that you have fun, because I know I did. All right, let's do that. Removal of tape and shaking the camera. That's important. And here's those zoom-ins I was telling you about. That's just getting there. Yeah, a little bit. Slightly better. Slightly worse. There we go. There you go. Not bad. Oh, is it? Oh, there we go. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that painting. I know I did. If you did, please feel free to like and comment in regards to what you would like to see next. Thank you to all of my Patreons, and remember that you guys are loved and you deserve to be loved. And I'll see you guys next week.